back over to you.
All right, Chrissy, thank you. Local researchers find that a sugar coating outside of the coronavirus helps it infect the body. Dr. Rommie Amaro, professor of chemistry and biochemistry at UC San Diego, joining us now to explain. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
I heard about this in our meeting. It was interesting that you're learning this virus surrounded by sugar.
That's right. So I'm here to give you yet another reason to continue to wear masks when you're outside. And that's because this virus is extremely clever. It basically has a sugary coating covering the outside of the virus, and in particular, the little bits that are required to actually infect the human cell.
What does that mean when it's surrounded by the sugar? Does it make it easier to get into the body? It tricks the body?
It basically does. It acts like a disguise. So many of our own human cells actually have a coating of sugar on them. And so what this virus has evolved is basically a shield or a coating of the sugar, like a disguise. So basically the body thinks that this virus is one of our own cells and the immune system doesn't attack it.
I know doctors and scientists, we're learning more and more every single day about COVID-19. With this information, how does that help in the development of a vaccine?
Right. Well, so it turns out that most vaccines actually work on the parts of the virus that are exposed. So they're sort of the vulnerabilities or the holes in the glycan shield. So having this information about what this sugary coating looks like tells researchers where they can design vaccines that actually will work and be effective against the virus.
Just a moment ago, doctor, you said it's really important, and you want to remind people why it's important to wear those masks and those face coverings. Knowing the information that you know now about that this virus, COVID-19, surrounded by sugar, why are those face coverings important, in your opinion?
Well, they're really important because once the virus does get into your body, it has a very good chance of infecting you. And so really right now, our best chance at controlling transmission is probably to wear masks. That is, until we're able to develop and have vaccines broadly available, we must really take these sort of other measures like mask wearing, washing hands, keeping the social distancing, et cetera, in order to prevent the spread of the virus any further.
How long do you think we're going to have to do this, doctor, based on what you're learning about the virus, what you're seeing about the virus? How long will coronavirus be around like this? I know they say this is just part of our life. We just got to get used to this. It's like the influenza, it's going to be here. But all the changes that we're having to make right now, how long will that be around?
Well, things will change dramatically once scientists have developed a vaccine and it does become, safe. Once it's shown that it's safe for human use and broadly available, it's looking. There are a number of promising candidates right now in the pipeline, and I'm hopeful that in early 2021, we'll have those available for use, and that will really allow us to. As long as people take that vaccine, that will allow us to sort of go back in some sense to how things were before, because we'll be able to develop immunity to the virus similar to like we do with the flu.
You're learning more about COVID-19 day by day. Is there anything that is interesting to you as you're learning besides that, the sugar coating? This is something new, and every day we're learning more and more about this, that you think that someone watching right now would like to know?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, yes, scientifically, definitely, there are so many interesting questions to ask and answer, of course. I think in particular, again, the most important thing to know is that this virus is, in some sense, very clever. It has devised ways to evade the human immune system for a transmissible disease that our bodies are less familiar with. And again, the most important message I think that we can relay right now is that we have to continue to wear masks in public and continue with social distancing so that we can help stop the spread of coronavirus.
And the cleverness, doctor, is that the virus gets into your body and can stay in incubation in a window of time up to many days. So I've interviewed doctor after doctor, and they've said the same thing to me, is that most people who have coronavirus, when you ask them, how are you feeling? They say, I feel fine. There's nothing wrong, yet they are carrying this virus, and by the time those symptoms do start to show, they've already shed that virus to others.
Yes.
That's clever.
Yeah, and it is clever, and that's also dangerous. And you know, that's another one of the interesting aspects, you know, you asked about for scientists, is really trying to understand. One of the things that we're really trying hard to understand right now is why and how people will have such different responses once they've actually contracted the virus. Like you were saying, some people will be asymptomatic, and then, you know, very unfortunately, you have others that have a very severe response that lands them, you know, in the hospital or the ICU, or it could be fatal. And so really understanding which segments of the population are the most vulnerable and why is a really very active area right now.
Dr. Rommie Amaro, a professor of chemistry and biochemistry at UC San Diego, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.